Good morning, fellow option traders. Welcome to the daily scan for December 20th, 2012. Well, it was an interesting day yesterday. Kind of a, they call it a correction sometimes, but maybe it's a trend. Maybe it's a change in the trend. And it's interesting because yesterday we were talking about the RUT, and I just want to take a look at the RUT right quick here because we were talking about this yesterday. We have a sort of a doji up here. I think the wicks of this candle here are just a little bit too long to be really counted as a doji. But remember, we were talking about some serious resistance up here around 865 or so, 870. And we're up pretty close to it. Let me just zoom in a little bit on that. We're up pretty close to it on the weekly here. And we're about 20 points away from it here on the daily. And we just bumped up there and we just didn't do anything. So does that mean anything? Well, that's a good question. But we were talking about what happens to this white line when volatility increases. So how do you look to get an idea of how much volatility really did increase in the past? Well, I think I might have shown this at one time in the past also, but if you bring up your charts and then you go to edit charts, this is one way to do it. And you scroll down here till you get to the eyes. And you can, this is an overall implied volatility for the Russell. So we can add that, let's add that to our chart. Now I was playing around with doing some comparisons. And there we go. Alright. Hit apply here, say OK. Let's bring up the Russell. So when we looked at the Russell at the our position on the iron condors on the Russell on yesterday, we were pretty close to being even, if I remember right. Let me take a look here. I didn't look at it like at the end of the day to see what the profit and loss was for that day, but I'm sure we probably lost money because IV increased. That's just, that would seem logical to me. But that's just me. So you can see here at the end of the day, we took a bit of a dip. So right now, we didn't really move that much on this line, but I'm sure that this white line dropped a couple of bucks yesterday. And the same thing if you were delta neutral, if you were over here, you probably dropped a couple of bucks there too. So that's how implied volatility can delay the profit that you get on your short positions, any short position actually. All right, looks like we might, looking at today, looks like we might open down a bit this morning and maybe head down a little bit further. Today's Thursday, so we're going to get a jobs report that just tells us how many new applications there were for unemployment, which I don't know. It could be up, it could be down. I don't know. We don't know. And how that affects the market, sometimes it can affect it strangely or not so much. Gold is down a little bit. Let's take a quick look at a chart for that. Yeah, it's we're down a little bit here. It's not a pretty picture for gold. We're definitely in a downtrend, and we're kind of flat. Downtrend on a midterm, kind of flat on a long term. So if you're a gold person, everybody should have a little bit. You might want to keep an eye on that. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about at this point. I went and bought gas the other day, and I paid under $3 a gallon here in the States for it, so I was pretty happy with that. All right, this is our profit tent portfolio. Not going to do anything there. If we take a look at it overall, I'm not going to do that at this time. It's okay. We're fine. Overall, delta, let's see here, delta is minus 11 on the Qs, and minus 11 on the RUT, and minus 10 on the Qs. So we're all right there. I'm not going to be concerned about that. Okay, let's go over here to the spread account. BIDU, remember I was concerned about that yesterday. I got out right at the open, and I'll give you a little history of that, and I'll tell you what I did. When I opened this trade, I collected a $1.76 credit on my short strike at 97.50, and I bought it back yesterday for $2.47, so I lost 71 cents on that contract, and I had 4 of them. So that's $71 times 4. That's the loss that I took. However, the long option, which I paid 32 cents for, is now worth 86 cents. So that has had a 54-cent gain. So theoretically, all I need is like another 20 cents out of that long one, and we should be okay. So let's take a look at this, and I'll tell you what I did. I just simply bought back the short and hung on to the long because I wanted to see what was going to happen today. I don't think I'll hang on to it any longer today. If BIDU continues to move up, I'll watch it during the day, and I will get out. And once it reaches my target, and I can basically not take a loss. Now, this is not an advisable thing to do. I've done it a couple of times. I've been successful. Well, you know, like out of 5 or 6 times, I think I've been successful twice. And those 2 times I was wildly successful. That was one of the big reasons for the gainer, I think, back in October or September was when I did this on Apple. But sometimes it cannot be successful, and if that call just sits there and doesn't do anything, if the underlying doesn't move in your direction, you're just eating time and you need to get out of it. So if this is something that you wouldn't do for more than a day or maybe 2, especially in this case, this needs to move in the money. This is a 105 call, and it needs to get in the money. If it gets up to 105 today, that would be a nice gain because they're at 216 here, and if it gets up to 105, then it should be worth 946, at least according to the calculations in the pre-market. So that would be a nice gain. All right, so enough about that. Everything else is doing okay. And I reversed my position on Panera and Chipotle. I still have that bottom half of that iron condor that I'm probably going to let expire worthless. Let's take a look, however, just to make sure that Chipotle's behaving, and it is, so we're okay there. What I'm looking for here is just for it to stay above this break even here, or stay above this 255 short. So I'm going to move this up to 255. All right, at least get as close to it as I can. Let's do it a little bit higher, and then we'll get, you know, sort of a warning shot across the bow before that. So this is a support area here, probably won't be coming down to that, but we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at A plus list. Yeah, Apple was looking pretty good, and then yesterday it didn't look so hot. It opened down, gapped down at the open, and just continued to move down. So that happens sometimes. Here's the open. This is roughly the close yesterday. Here's the open, or the day before. Here's the open from yesterday. And it didn't really move that much either. We are not in Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon. Remember, we didn't have anything set up on this. We're pretty flat on the midterm, but no entry windows on the long term, even though we're in an uptrend. BIDU, we looked at that. CF Industries, downtrend on the midterm. We need this to stretch itself a little bit more, possibly to get up closer to 80 in an uptrend on the long term. Maybe we'll get a bounce down here, but with the holidays coming, I don't think anything's going to be doing too much. Salesforce in an uptrend, we're up here, no entry. In an uptrend, we're up here, no entry. And look for a signal to enter and possibly use the intraday here for an entry point during the day. Nothing going on. Google. Uptrend on the long term, no entry. Downtrend on the short term, no entry. MasterCard. Uptrend on the long term, a possible entry here. We did talk about this yesterday a little bit. This pullback here could be a good sign. I am going to put an alert on this. I just want to make sure that I go and I take a look at it. I don't think I'm going to do anything per se, but I do want to put an alert on this. And I'm going to put it above this, the high of this bar. So if we move up, let's move it up a little bit more. So if we move up at the open today, it's going to ring my bell, so to speak. Priceline, crazy Priceline. Never ceases to amaze me. All right, we have, we're looking for a long-term entry here. Still waiting. It takes this one a little bit longer to develop. And if I was to do anything, I would want to get in when we break the high of the week. The high of the week is not established yet. And there may not be an entry next week because I believe the market's only open a half a day on Monday, and of course it's going to be closed on Tuesday. Trading very light Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then I'm not sure. I will check this tomorrow and verify it for you guys if you don't do it yourself. But then there's New Year's the next week, and I think New Year's Eve is a half a day also. And New Year's Day, of course, is a holiday, and then everybody like reassesses everything when they come back after the holidays, so who knows what's going to happen. So Panera, we're doing all right there. We reversed on Panera, and we got long on that. Let's just jump over to the Analyze tab. Probably going to do pretty good with this one. This is a January, so let's put our probability date out to January. As long as the price stays around here, we have a good probability of making a nice profit for the new year on this particular one. And there'll be a lot of decay over the next couple of weeks. All right, so I think that that's it for today. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Everybody have a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and happy trading.